The League has a long, distinguished history of service to the fresh grape, tree fruit, and berry communities. As a voluntary organization, Value of the California Grape and Tree Fruit League is founded in its public policy efforts as the united voice of the fresh grape, tree fruit, and berry growers and shippers in California.
The League serves its members in a variety of ways. In addition to an exceptional and capable staff working on a number of issues each day in Fresno, we also maintain an active presence in Sacramento with a number of legislators and regulators on a daily basis. My family has been involved in the California fruit industry since the California Grape and Tree Fruit League's inception 75 years ago. As an industry, we owe much of our success to the League's collective efforts and its long, distinguished history of service to the fresh grape, tree fruit, and berry communities. I'm particularly proud to serve as chairman of the League's Board of Directors during its 75th year celebration. As California fruit growers continue to wrestle with regulatory, business, and labor issues in the years ahead, the League will continue to be an important force for our industry.
The League itself came out as a result originally of the California Grape Growers and Shippers Association, which was originally formed in 1936, primarily representing growers and shippers in the southern portions of the state. Later, in discussions with the California Grower and Shippers Protective League, there was a formal merger in 1949 to create the California Grape and Tree Fruit League. The association was first headed by a man by the name of A. Satrakian, who served from 1936 to 1943.
Its primary purpose was to negotiate railroad rates, as rail served as the primary mode of transportation in moving fruit to the East Coast. Membership dues were set at $10 per year, along with a rail car fee of $2. During the 50s and 60s, the League was mainly involved in transportation issues, that being the railroads and the rates they charged, as well as guaranteed arrival times.
I joined the League in 1949 and was honored to serve as chairman of the board during the 1955-1956 League year. The Grape and Tree Fruit League have been leaders all along in handling all of our problems and giving us a place to get together and enjoy one another's camaraderie.
The California Grape and Tree Fruit League continued to work on transportation and other important issues on behalf of its members throughout the 1970s, and by the late 1970s started to work on increasing its profile in Sacramento. It was also during this period of time that an important milestone took place. The League decided to move its offices from San Francisco. After years of discussion, it was finally decided the League would move from San Francisco to Fresno. So on December 16, 1974, after which time the board had allocated $10,000 for the move, the League opened up its new offices in Fresno. During the 1970s, the League worked to resolve an issue involving the Interstate Commerce Commission, which resulted in a savings of an estimated over $3 million for its members.
I'm Stanley Cozart with WF Cozart Packing Company Incorporated in Exeter, California. We've been a League member since 1943. I've served on the board since 1974. You had a standard wood box, and then we had one that we called a display lug that we split the top off of when you displayed it in the grocery store. Now you put them in any box they want. You would have had individual shippers trying to get it through the way they wanted it. And there would have been utter chaos because you couldn't have accomplished anything. If you had 30 packers wanting to pack in 30 different boxes at one time, it wouldn't have worked. The League did all of the legwork. It fulfilled the go-between between the state of California for their regulations on the boxes and the railroad for what they wanted, because they were a lot more strict than the truckers wanted, and you had to get everything approved by the railroad before you could do anything.
From 1980 until 1981, medfly infestation in San Jose was a very scary time for us because we did not understand the ramifications of this insect. Packers and shippers were building fumigation chambers left and right in anticipation that the insect would make it into the Central Valley. The League was instrumental in making sure the medfly was eradicated prior to its spread to the Central Valley, and that our shipments of fruit could move freely without interruption through other states.
Medfly was being picked up in the San Jose area, and every day was a new count, and the counts were just multiplying geometrically. This thing was just literally exploding, and we didn't know where it was going to pop up next.
The national economic story today, it concerns a tiny insect which is threatening the health of California's multi-billion-dollar agricultural industry. Today, efforts got underway to try to prevent the spread of the destructive fruit fly. Royal Kennedy reports.
This is the Army California is sending into the suburbs south of San Francisco to rout the invader, threatening the state's $12 billion agricultural industry.
We had to learn very quickly how to interface with various government agencies that we knew would eventually impact us. There were committees being formed by the state of California and by the federal government, and we were endeavoring to try to see to it that our industry was represented. Some of those committees were going to be the ones that were in control of the eradication process. So we began to set up committees that would make annual field trips to Sacramento, and out of that grew our government relations program. We would meet with those legislators, we had dinners with them, and we did the same thing to a lesser extent with Congress, and the League would organize those as well. I think it's extremely important for the legislature, people in policy-making positions, to be able to put a face on what these issues are and how their regulations are impacting them. The Grape and Tree Fruit League played a central leading role in lobbying and putting together of the 1986 immigration law. The immigration law was designed to provide a legal workforce for producers of perishable agricultural commodities. We were being threatened by grower sanctions from the federal government, and we were subject to open field raids by INS. Needless to say, those raids were extremely disruptive to all harvest operations and any other operations involving labor in the field.
As the League moved into the 1990s, the League expanded member benefits, one of which was insurance products.
There was some thought that group purchasing power could provide a benefit to the League as well as to the individual participants. We thought there could be some financial advantages to the League itself as well as to individual participants. It started off with a group property insurance program where we have a shared deductible. It worked very well, and it continues to work now. Over the course of the years, the significant additions to that were a crop insurance program, as well as a workers' compensation group plan. All three of those main ones have brought financial benefits to the individual participants, as well as to the Grape and Tree Fruit League.
Whether it be labor, water, air quality, the League is a voice of our industry and tries to improve our conditions in whatever manner possible. I think the most important theme has been that the industry works together to come to a common goal. And without a vehicle such as a League, we would be fractured.
I know firsthand of the value that this organization brings to our industry, just as my great-grandfather did when he signed on as a charter member of the League in 1936. 7.5 decades later, and the organization continues to serve a vital role in representing the collective voice of our commodities. The League gives our company a chance for our voice to be heard. It's really the only way we can get our message to Sacramento and Washington. We've been in business, our company's been in business for 75 years, and the League's been around for 75 years, and it's certainly my hope that our company's around for another 75 years, and I know that the Grape and Tree Fruit League will be instrumental in helping us achieve that goal.